Back here on the Army Sports Network pregame show presented by Bud Light. Justin Rocke joined by the head coach of Army West Point. That is Dave Magarity. Coach, coming off a really disappointing weekend last weekend against Holy Cross. How has your team responded in practice over the course of the last week?
Well, Justin, it really was. I mean, I don't think you can mince words about, how I feel or about our performance last weekend. It's hard to explain. Saturday was is tough a day as I've had, and I just think the surrounding attention that game had, and I'll be honest, you lose a game that you come out and you compete, you play hard, and you live with that. It's part of the business, winning and losing, but someone's got to lose. But the way we lost, the way we played, and to allow a team to come into our gym and play that well and dominate the game the way they did under those circumstances is really, it's really a hard pill to swallow. I felt we competed a lot more the next day, but the results weren't a whole lot different, and it's just really mind-boggling to me. And I get it. I mean, we had issues with personnel, and Kate Murray wasn't playing, and Sarah Bond had come back from not playing, and we've got a lot of we've had challenges, but we also have been playing pretty good basketball and finding ways for people to step up, but no one stepped up. None of our starters played well. Nobody played well, and it really it really set the table for a very challenging week in practice, and then having to play arguably the best team in the league, at least one of the top two teams in the league, with definitely arguably the best talent.
Yeah, one of the key stars for BU, Katie Nelson, is off to a fantastic start this season shooting the basketball. They've got so many threats on offense. What do you guys need to do to get them out of sync on that end of the floor?
Well, Katie Nelson, I think, controls the game. I think she's the best point guard in the league. I don't think there's anybody close to her. The way she's playing with such composure and has such a feel for the game. She's shooting the ball at an incredible rate, percentage-wise. I watched both of their games against Colgate last weekend, and she's so good with the ball in her hands. She's such a threat, not only to score, but she's a great passer, and she just finds people, and they've got so many weapons. I mean, just the fact that a kid like one of their players, Esposito, who's a transfer from Villanova, I mean, she hasn't started for them, and she might have started one game over the weekend, but she comes off the bench. She started for Villanova. She's a terrific player, and they're so good at every position, and talent-wise, depth, whatever. It's really a challenge.
You guys have been one of the better teams in the country in terms of getting to the free throw line through the early going this season. One of the top in the top 33 percentile, I think, in the country in terms of getting to the free throw line. You guys were only able to get to the line about 18 times last weekend, 18 free throw attempts. How do you guys do a better job at creating more of those chances this weekend?
Well, BU is going to show a lot of zone. They're very that's sort of their trademark defense. At least off of all makes, free throws, field goals. They'll pressure into their zone. They're very big. They're long, and they do a great job of forcing you to take tough shots. If you get the ball inside, you better be able to understand how to get them in the air. You can't float, and a lot of our post players struggle with that. We don't, make that power move. We're not getting people in a position to foul, and that's something that we got to figure out. And with Kate Murray back this weekend, I'm hoping she could stretch that defense a little bit. That's really hurt us. We haven't had a post player that's a 3-point threat, and it limits our lineups. And I think, as I mean, our three freshmen who have been playing a lot of minutes really had a really tough weekend last weekend, and Lauren Lithgow coming off a Rookie of the Week performance against Colgate. That happens. It's going to happen with freshmen. So, we got to continue to bring them along. But our upperclassmen need to be more of a presence. They've got to start playing the way they're capable of playing night in, night out. We have not played particularly well since we came back from the break. I mean, the Colgate weekend, even though we came back and won, we still dug an 18-point hole for ourselves in the second game, and then obviously last weekend. So we gotta, and this is a tough weekend to just right the ship. We've got to really become focused and ready to compete for the entire games.
One final question for you, Coach. You mentioned it a little bit earlier. Kate Murray getting her back this weekend. It was obvious how much you missed her last weekend against Holy Cross. What's it been like getting her back into practice this week, and how she looked?
Kate's been terrific. Again, it's just so unfair to me. You got a young lady who just completely committed herself to doing everything possible to take her game to the next level coming out of her sophomore year. And it proved to be very effective. I mean, she's our leading scorer, leading rebounder, playing some great basketball, coming off a terrific win against Quinnipiac, and then bang, she hadn't played a game, and this will be her first game back since December the 12th, and she hadn't practiced. So her return to play protocol, she's done everything we've asked her to do, but she still hasn't played. So getting her timing back and everything, you'll probably similar to what Sarah Bond went through last weekend. She hadn't played, same situation, hadn't played, hadn't practiced. And then we threw her into that Holy Cross weekend. And, I thought she really played hard and she competed, but, she just didn't look the same, and she looked exhausted by the time we got to Sunday.
Head coach of the Black Knights, Dave Magarity, thank you as always for the time. Best of luck this afternoon, and we'll talk to you after the game.
Thanks so much, Justin.
Coming up next in the pregame show, we'll have starting lineups and tip-off. You're listening to the Army Sports Network pregame show presented by Bud Light.